All right, let's go. I'm Patrick Brady, chair of MBTA's Young Professional Group,
I'm Orion Green,
and
and
this
this
is
is Maine
Maine Better.
Better, where we discuss community and connection for the Maine Better Transportation Association.
Today we are with Senator Dana Dow, Senate Minority Leader, who is running for re-election to the District 13 Senate seat. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you are running?
Well, I'm 69 years old. I've lived on this piece of property my entire life. I own Dow Furniture. Bought that from my father in 1977. That seems like yesterday. I was a school teacher at Madomic Valley High School, taught chemistry and physics there back in the 70s, early 80s. Oh, I went to seminary for a while. I've done all kinds of things. The list of the things I haven't done is shorter than the list of the things I have done. But no, I've raised a family here, and I enjoy working in the community, enjoy my store, and proud of it.
What's one job you haven't done that you wish you have or hope to in the future?
My family roots have to do with northern Maine and the woods area and the Allagash, and I always wanted to be a game warden like my uncle, great uncle Levi was. He was head game warden of Aroostook County back in the 40s. That's one thing I always wished I could have done.
What are some of the specific transportation challenges that your district faces?
Some of the roads coming into Lincoln County aren't the greatest. Route 1 north of Camden, between Camden and Lincolnville, not my district, but if you can't get to Lincoln County, why? Or it's miserable trying to get here. It makes the time you're here less enjoyable. So it's roads in general. I think as a senator, I have to have a statewide outlook, and it's roads in general. Not only transportation for ordinary everyday people and tourists, but for industry. It's very important. Got this view from my father, who was also in the state senate, and got to have good roads to get the potatoes out of Aroostook, because he was from Presque Isle. Because I knew what he meant. You got to have good roads, period, for commerce.
All roads lead to Lincoln County is what they say, right?
They do. Yeah, they all end up somehow at Moody's Diner.
Is there anything the state can do to help improve transportation in Maine and in your district?
The bridges are a main concern for the DOT, and we've got to make sure we keep those maintained and don't get the list too backlog about replacements. And that I do worry about, not just in Lincoln County, but everywhere. But the bridges have always been a main concern of upkeep, and there's a good list of them that need to be worked on or replaced, and that gets expensive. It's possible some of the work coming out of the composite industry in Orono may be part of the future for some of these bridges, the smaller ones anyway. So I worry more about the bridges than I do the roadways. The road surfaces have been done pretty good until lately, because the price of tar was low, and the tar is related to the price of oil. So I've seen a lot of surfaces done. Some of the things that bug me the most is when I come to an intersection and I can't see around a bush or a limb or a tree or something on somebody's lawn. I have to edge up even closer and closer to the highway in order to see out. There's a lot of things like that I see. Route 1 from Waldoboro to Nobleboro, that's going to have to be redone. Tree limbs are starting to come out into that highway as well. So I noticed that because, it's the drive from here to Moody's Diner, those 3 miles, why I frequent that road quite often.
What are your thoughts about transportation funding?
There's going to have to be some changes, because you can't do it all on gasoline tax. If you did, you'd have to raise it up quite a bit. But people need to be prepared to compromise. The gasoline tax is probably one of the issues. You're going to have to take cars that are so gasoline efficient now that they're not, as some of my colleagues would say, not paying their fair share You may have to change some of the registration fees over to some mileage applications where we can collect some gasoline taxes that they don't pay because they don't use much gas, but they still use the road. So that may be a possibility. And we may have to take a look at some other sources. Of course, the highway fund, the gasoline taxes can only be used for highways. In the past, even when my father was in the Senate from 53 to 60, there was always people that wanted to use the gasoline taxes to build schools or do other things, but that fund is constitutionally protected. It just isn't adequate right now. We have a tremendous number of roads in Maine. Even though we have the same population as New Hampshire, we've got many, many times more miles of roads than they do over there. So it always is burdensome for the state of Maine to maintain these roads.
What was your first car you ever had?
First one I had was a lime green black vinyl top Vega. Probably about as homely a thing as you could have, but I thought it was a cat's meow at the time. And I was just coming out of college and beginning my teaching career at Madomic Valley. And that was my first car, 3-speed stick. And I thought it was fantastic.
What became of it?
I traded it for a 77 Vega station wagon, and then I moved up from there. Yeah.
What do you currently drive?
Vehicle I drive most of the time is my Silverado pickup, but a toy car, I've had a couple in the past. One I have right now is a 2020 Shelby.
What's your dream car?
Well, that's probably it. But to tell you the truth, I used to own a 87 Buick Grand National, and I wish I still had it, because when I really do dream about cars, it's always that one. It's never the Shelbys that I've had. It's always that particular car. Sometime, if I'm lucky, I'll pick one up again somewhere.
You work on them yourself?
No, I'm a good mattress salesman. I let everybody else do things that they know how to do well, and I stay away from mechanics. I stay away from electrical things. Any of the things, plumbing, I stay away from all that. Anything that I'm not good at is a good thing to stay away from, and I let the people that know how to do it do that. So the mechanics, they do all the work on the vehicles.
Is that your secret to longevity?
My secret to longevity is to keep smiling and find something humorous every day of my life. You can't get through life without a good sense of humor.
Why did you become a teacher, and did that prepare you at all or help for your political career?
Yes, my whole family was school teachers. My sister, my father, he was assistant principal at Madomic Valley when he retired. My grandmother started the music program at Waldoboro schools free. Aunts, uncles, a lot of teachers in the family. It was just something I gravitated to. And I still look back on it as one of the best times of my life. I love teaching. I just had too many irons and too many fires, and I had to give it up. But I'll tell you one thing, once you're a school teacher, you're always a school teacher. I've served several times on the SAD 40 school board. I also served on the Region 8, the vocational school board. And those schools, I think, are vitally important. And since we don't have a community college in Lincoln County, that vocational school for adult education and everything after school hours, night school, is vitally important, and I support that wholeheartedly. But I'm a big education supporter. So I've seen a lot of people I would consider brilliant that just make things, and if they need some kind of a tool or some kind of a gadget in order to do something, they just make it. And I'm amazed at some of the things that a lot of these people can do with metal and electronics and things like that.
Yankee ingenuity.
Yes, it is. It's good Yankee ingenuity. Then we must have a lot of good Yankees up here, because I've met a lot of people that are able to do things like that.
I'm fascinated by your business. What's your favorite type of furniture?
Probably my favorite one, because I use it often, is a lazy boy, and mine's an electric one. I call it a lazy boy. And now I enjoy the furniture business. I enjoy all the people. I used to enjoy delivering furniture to all the houses, and I'd get around my whole school district, and I didn't know where my students lived, but I'd go into houses and all their pictures would be all over the wall. Even years after I got out of teaching, I'd see this, so it was always pleasant. I'm not good at delivering anymore, so I just tell the fellas, you pick up that sofa, boys, and I'll grunt for you.
What's your favorite road trip you've ever taken?
Oh, my favorite road trips when I go to Presque Isle. My father born and raised in Presque Isle. My roots are all the roots are Island Falls, where my great-grandfather and his uncle were Teddy Roosevelt's guides when he came to Maine, northern Maine, as a young man around 19 and 20. He came up and was guided around the Allagash and Katahdin area by my great-grandfather and uncle. So actually, I was just in Presque Isle. To heck with driving back the turnpike. I came back down Route 2 through Smyrna and all these towns I know, Island Falls, Silver and Golden Ridge, and into McGuahawk and Mattawamkeag, and all these. I had a great time. So my favorite road trips are around Aroostook County, which I'm very familiar with. And that's just part of my state perspective, to have a good handle. That's why my father always said, you got to have good roads to get the potatoes out of Aroostook. So, yeah.
Where's the one place you have to stop when you go up to Presque Isle?
I usually stop a lot of times at the gas station in Island Falls, just off the turnpike. I go over the graveyard. My great-grandfather and a lot of my relatives are buried there. It's kind of historically interesting, kind of a morbid thing to say. Why do I always stop? Yeah, I stop at the graveyard at Island Falls and look around and drive through the town. I still have relatives in Island Falls at the Pleasant Lake.
My family's from Blue Hill, and each fall we usually go up there and hit Moody's Diner on the way. But it's the same thing. We go to the cemetery up there, and it is fascinating.
So where do you want to go after you die?
After I die, I'm going to Harrow Lake. Harrow Lake is just east of Churchill Dam, and I'm going to fish and hunt forever. I've spent many times up there, and I love the Allagash. And if anybody has never been there, it's the biggest woods east of the Mississippi. In order to get to the camp, you got to drive 65 miles on a dirt road. The road gets worse and worse the further you go. You come to the foot of the lake, you got to take a boat and drag it up the brook for 300 yards just to get into the lake. And then you travel 2/3 way down the lake. There's a real log cabin built by Joe Tardy in 1950. And it's a real Maine log cabin.
Sounds like a good place to spend eternity.
Yeah, I've flown in there many times from either Moosehead. Most of the time I flew in from Portage Lake Flying Service.
All right, well, that's all we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us, Dana.
You're more than welcome, and it was a pleasure. It's always a pleasure to be able to just speak off the cuff, knowing that I'm only going to get half a sentence that's ever going to be used. So
I think it's nice to talk to people not in sound bites. That's the only way you can actually have a real conversation and get things done.
Yeah, I used to watch my father on TV in the 50s, and he would be on for 2 or 3 minutes at times in the old newscast. So yeah, it's different today. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much.